Hey there, I'm Angel Marie, business and mindset coach, helping you succeed in faith, money, and mindset. Welcome to this video. In today's video, I want to dive into a question that A, I get asked a lot, and B, is actually researched a lot on the internet, especially since the 2020 pandemic. And that question is how to quit your job and work for yourself. This video is gonna save you a ton of time because it's gonna be your ultimate planning guide to take that leap of faith in leaving a job that you feel you're ready to leave in order to transition into a business that you've been dreaming of building for a while now. And although you have the freedom to take that leap of faith anytime, I recommend being strategic, being a planner so that by the time you leave, you just set yourself up for success. So let's get into it. So just a little background story on me. Since graduating college, I jumped around from different career opportunities. I was in the music industry for a little while, and then I was in digital marketing departments for a while. I worked for startup companies. Fast forward to the most recent job that I've had, which was working at a marketing platform called ConvertKit, where I was managing a lot of their education and video content streams. Now, for me personally, I was in a job position that I actually did enjoy. So everyone's story is different. You might be in a job position that you cannot stand and that you just desperately need to get out of there. For me, I enjoyed what I did. I just felt pulled and I felt called to something else. Hence me feeling ready to leave my 9-to-5 and take that leap of faith to go under my own brand. And it's very doable for you to do the same thing if you feel that it's time. So I'm going to talk about the steps you should take to plan to make that transition. But first, I want to dive into when you should consider quitting your job. If you love your job and you want to stay in it, why are you watching this video? But if you're ready to leave your job, then here's how to know when. My first piece of advice on when you should be quitting your job is if you feel called by God to do so, not by your hastiness. In other words, I do not recommend that you leave your job just because you're impatient. I recommend that you leave because you genuinely feel called, pulled, or spiritually led to take a leap of faith. And the reason why is because that call or that pull is going to get you on the path that you are supposed to be on, versus just leaving out of haste or leaving out of impatience and therefore ending up on a path that you were never meant to be on in the first place. My second piece of advice in knowing when it's time to quit is if you're starting to feel like your passion no longer aligns with the work that you're doing. I believe that in any job, no matter what it is, you can develop some sort of skill set. I really do believe that. But over time, if you're not passionate about it, then it just feels like you're going through the day-to-day motions and just existing in this world rather than living. Work should not be about just getting by. It should be about doing something that you're passionate about, making a difference that you feel connected to within the workplace that you're in. So if you start to feel that passion consistently die down in the work that you're doing, take the time to reflect, analyze, and maybe see that it might be time for you to pivot. My third piece of advice on when to know when it's time to leave your job is if you're constantly finding yourself in a cycle of tying your worth to your work. When you tie your worth to your work, you're stuck in the people-pleasing phase. You only ever feel worth it if your boss sees you, if your colleagues see you, if people are noticing the work that you're doing. And if people don't, or if their attention and focus is on something else, then you don't feel worth it. You start to go into this deep hole of depression and anxiety and all of these other negative feelings. Now, it's very possible to stay in a job and to deal with that internal issue so that you can overall go about your workplace or industry in a much more healthier way. But if you are constantly finding yourself in that cycle, especially if it's a job that does not align with your passion, then in my opinion, you are worth the fight in figuring out what your workplace or industry is supposed to be so that you can be passionate about it, but you can also stop tying your worth to it. There are other pieces of advice that I could get into when it comes to when it should be time for you to leave your job. If you feel called to do so, we'll talk about that another time. Right now, I really want to dive into the tips, which are going to be your ultimate planning guide to actually make that transition from a 9 to 5 to full-on entrepreneurship. Tip number 1, leverage your current job as much as possible. Like I said earlier, I don't care what your job is. There is something there to leverage. There is a skill set to leverage. There is a connection there, a really valuable resource to leverage. There are specific strategies in the marketing team or on the product team or in the customer support team that you can leverage, that you can learn about so that you can grow in knowledge and bring somewhat of those strategies into your own business too. It's not to necessarily copy them. It's just to gain the skill set that's going to inspire you to set your business up for success right from the get-go. I know for me, when I was ready to leave my 9 to 5, I literally pulled some of those project management tools that they use to run the company. I literally created an account of my own and now use those project management tools to this day because I leveraged them in my previous job. I knew how valuable they were. I put in the time and energy to understand that platform's features so that when it came time for me to use that tool or that platform under my own business, I already knew what I was doing. I didn't have to take the time to learn it. Leverage those skill sets, leverage those connections, leverage those resources, leverage those strategies from your current job, and think about how you might want to creatively and uniquely pull them in to your very own business. My second tip, and honestly, this is probably one of my favorite tips because it has really helped me create the foundation I needed to go off under my own brand. That second tip is to financially plan 6 months in advance. Financially plan 6 months in advance, meaning that if you are just now getting the idea of wanting to leave your job and go and work for yourself, then right now at this point, you should plan to save money, budget, and do whatever financial analysis you need to do for 6 months, and then take the leap of faith to leave. Now, I understand that sometimes you cannot wait 6 months. Like you're ready to go like right now. I understand that. But from my own personal experience and my personal opinion, if you are able to, I would recommend it. In fact, to get more specific, I would recommend saving at least 30% of your current salary before you decide to leave. If you can save 30% of your salary in 2 months, great. Then it's might be time to take that transition in 2 months. But if it's going to take you 6, 8 months, in my opinion, it's worth it. Now, of course, there have been these incredible stories of people who literally put their 2 weeks in today, and even though they struggled a little bit, they were able to succeed shortly afterwards. I'm sure that can happen for you too. But because I'm a strategist and a planner, and I want to set you up for success from the very beginning, I definitely recommend saving 30% of your salary before you decide to leave. And the reason why is because that 30% is going to give you the financial foundation that you need so that you're not struggling right out of the gate of leaving your job. Because let me tell you, once those paychecks stop coming that you're so used to, you're going to be wondering where that money is. And having that 30% as a backbone can give you that extra time to focus on building the business and building up the brand while not going in financial distress because you planned ahead of time. You have some of that money saved up. Third tip, as part of your ultimate planning guide to leave your 9 to 5 and work for yourself, is to build your business's foundation right now. Right now. I know it can feel like you don't have time. 9 to 5 is taking away all your energy and you just don't have time to touch your business idea. But I highly recommend that you find the discipline to even spend 30 minutes on your business every single day. And I say this because when you leave your 9 to 5, you don't just want to start fresh and have nothing of your business there because you haven't even touched it yet. You want to have somewhat of a foundation. So what you can do right now is finally start that podcast you've been talking about while you're still working your 9 to 5. Finally start being consistent posting social media content. Finally build that business plan. Finally attend those conferences and make those connections and build your brand. Do what you got to do right now while you're working your 9 to 5 to build at least the base of your business so that when you do actually leave, you got a solid foundation that you're already standing on and can build off of. 6 months before I left my job, I told myself that I needed to do that same thing. And I did. I was posting on social media at least every other day. I developed my business plan. I re-established my website and redesigned it. I was promoting my coaching services and pre-selling them so that I could get students and clients in right away while I was still working my 9-to-5. And yes, it was hard because I had to find the discipline to balance out both. I had to find the discipline to still be faithful in working my 9-to-5. And I had to find the balance in having this side hustle that was eventually going to be a full-on business. So I recommend you do the same thing. Ask yourself, what can you do right now to build your business's foundation before you leave your 9-to-5? What are some things that you can do and be consistent in right now? I promise you, it's going to set you and that future business of yours up for success. So build that website. Create that content schedule, start that podcast, do what you need to do now. That's also really going to help with brand exposure as well. Before you leave your 9-to-5, people are already going to know what your business is because you started it already. That's what you want to do. My 4th tip in your ultimate planning guide is to network like crazy. Network like crazy. You need to start acting like a CEO right now. Go find community platforms, Facebook groups, join specific coaching programs if you're able to, where you can establish yourself as an authority in a specific industry. Where if you're attending events, if you're attending online conferences or in-person summits, when you're talking to people and networking, you're introducing yourself as the CEO, as the founder of XYZ business. Network like crazy now. Establish yourself or make yourself known as the CEO of that business now. Because even though those connections may not turn into anything right now, they might in the future because you met that person at that time and you told them about your business at that time. You ever hear of that phrase that says your net worth is found in your network? That is such a true statement. The people you know matters. The people that you are dedicated to building solid relationships with in your industry matters. And you can start right now. All right, friend, my last and final tip for you within your ultimate planning guide in leaving your 9-to-5 so that you can work for yourself is to have faith. The entrepreneurship journey is for the bold and it's for the brave. You have to step out in faith. Be confident and be consistent that this can work. And yeah, you might have to pivot. There might be obstacles. You might face certain circumstances. You might have to navigate your way through certain things. You never know what could happen. But the most important piece is to have faith. It's so easy for us to be like, oh, my business isn't going to make any money. I don't know if this coaching program is going to work. I don't know if this online shopping business is going to work. It's so easy for us to go into the I don't knows and the doubts. But try to lean more into what could happen. What if your online fashion business took off? What if that coaching program, what if you sold out of it? What if the online course that you built reaches 6 or 7 figures in 1 year? You have to have faith. If you're going to step out from your 9-to-5 and work for yourself, you have to believe in you. You have to believe in your business idea, and you have to believe in the God that gave you that idea in the first place. Believe, have faith, be consistent, and don't give up. All right, my friend, that is it for today's video. I hope that it was helpful as you map out this new journey of what it could look like to transition from your 9-to-5 to work for yourself. Just as I did, to me, it was absolutely worth it. Definitely a lot of learning lessons in the mix of it all, which is why I'm here to help you and guide you in that journey as well. And if you're interested in the strategies to take to build a successful business, I have another video for you that you can tune into right now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.